Hello, everyone. I am Will Ellis,
I'm Riyad Ali.
and we are here for episode 4 of If You Build It, the podcast.
Yep.
And this podcast, again, is really focusing on entrepreneurs, what it takes to believe in yourself, go out and take a risk, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the ugly. And at the end of the day, is the sacrifice all worth it? We are here with our third guest.
So today we have Trevor from Ink2Scalp.
Hello.
Welcome, Trevor.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
So let's talk about what you do.
Well, jumping right into it.
He has no kind of graceful way to do anything. It seems.
No,
We roll with it, right?
Yeah. Just we have a unique business. I partner in business with my wife. And in simplicity's sake, we tattoo bald men's heads.
So take me through the thought process of how did you get into this? Like, was it like was it stumbled on, or is it something you actually thought about and this is what we want to do, or like how did you get into this?
You know what? It was kind of a stumbling, to be honest. Well, that wasn't a stumble. That was a waterfall. That was a big trip. But no, it was from my journey of hair loss, right. and not really knowing how our business was going to stem from that. But just one day, about like 10 years ago, my wife said, "Trevor, I'm going to tattoo my face. I'm going to get my eyebrows done." And I was, no, you're not going to do that. That's crazy. and she said, "Yeah, no, I am, and it's a real thing. And if you'd like to come." So I go and I see it done, and it was amazing. And jokingly, I said, "Could you just do that to the back of my head and some other spots?" Unfortunately, and she's like, "No, you can't," or she couldn't. But it was it's an actual thing, and that you can actually have this done called scalp micropigmentation. And so from there, that kind of stemmed our curiosity and interest. And then after a great deal of research and going to develop a plan on how we're going to do this, we had Yvette started years before me, and she went to a large company in the US. I am subject 0, guinea pig number 1. It's a big thing to trust your wife. It was on the brink of like, is this going to go well? Okay, let's build a business. If it doesn't, let's kind of part ways and separate. So it's definitely that roll of the dice gamble. But yeah, from there, that's kind of how it became a thought to kind of just driving to make something happen. We honestly, we never thought that it would be making it to this leaps and bounds of having international clients.
Wow.
Clients fly from us.
Meaning from outside of the Durham region or
No.
outside the country?
Well, usually for international, for me,
I know. I was going to
it's
say
crossing of borders.
Well, for some people, they're like, I'm going downtown. You're like, downtown Oshawa or downtown Toronto?
That's
usually
right.
Downtown Oshawa.
That's right. But no. I've been blessed to have clients from Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
We have trainees come from Nova Scotia, Ottawa, Thunder Bay, all scopes. So it's trusted hands and making them feel like we get it.
So talking about your journey and going through this whole path, can you pinpoint or pick a day that was your hardest day or the hardest moment, or maybe a day that you didn't want to do this anymore, or was ever that one day for you that stands out?
So I'll answer it in 2 ways. First way is when working with your significant other on a regular, there's a balancing act and a protocol that you have to respect.
Sure.
And so with all of the challenges, with all of the growth opportunities, with all of the rewards, it's always, how do we make this happen together?
Yeah.
And we've navigated those waters well, but it's been challenging at times because of different choices, different branding, different expectations. So as far as that would be the scope of like the waves of balance.
Okay.
As far as a day, the day is when you have to decide, is it time to give your everything to this business?
For sure.
And drop every other hobby
Yeah.
and drop every other thought of other areas in your world careers and professions and go, is this
I
it?
think every entrepreneur goes through this, like
Yeah.
that juggling act.
Yeah.
When do I give it my all?
Yeah. So that would be, I guess, that time frame of decision making. Yeah.
And so when it comes to your, because I've been, unless I've been a part of it, but I've been there since the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I clearly don't do it.
I was about to ask you, did you do it?
No.
Will's is it's a different case.
We'll do a different podcast just on Will's head.
Yeah, you wouldn't see it. He's just got such a rich,
I'm so black.
dark tone.
I am so dark. I am so dark. Won't be seen.
It will hardly.
It's like using a black marker on a chalkboard, right?
That's right.
Exactly. So, right. So my point was, when you started this now 6 years.
Yeah, it's close approaching 6 years. Yeah,
it was uncommon.
True.
An uncommon, way to sort of improve your look and how you feel. To now more common. How do you guys bridge that gap?
So with every client, they come in different forms. They come in as researched, excited. They come in as, my wife pulled me in here, I don't really want to be here, or my partner pulled me in here, or whatever that might be. And then some that explore and they're skeptical. And I think at the end of the day, obviously me being the spokesmodel of trusting in it and trusting your significant other to be the guinea pig, to go through it, that gives a little bit more confidence. But to bridge the gap, our socials are all on the educational side.
Yeah.
We never speak to anything that relates to get your confidence back.
Yeah.
What are you lacking? It can't be anything like that. Because hundreds of guys walk through our doors and they are already confident. They're already to the peak of where they can bring themselves. And we just provide that icing.
I guess it's a different market if you do that, right? Or a different niche market if you try to sell confidence.
Yeah, it's not what we do. It's a byproduct at the end, but it's not something that we lead with because many of the men that come in are already confident. It's just there's something that genetically they can't resolve, and therefore that's something that we help recreate.
Do you get like females as well, and people maybe who have a disease where they can grow their hair back too as well?
It's a good question. So we have a lot of alopecia clients that struggle with areata totalis universalis, and there's times in which we get an opportunity to really give back to these folks. And being a bald man, okay, there's a comfort, there's an expectation. You don't have to explain that. I've lost my hair. But when you have alopecia, it's a little bit more like you feel like there's an explanation that has to go along with things. We've had some post cancer clients that were fully in remission, that were slowly growing their hair back, but it would never give them the volume that they once had.
Yeah.
So we help build that elegant illusion in that to just get them closer to what their beginning goals were of what they had, and we just kind of take that through. So,
sorry, I don't know. As you're talking, I got all these questions coming to my head.
Yeah.
So people who have alopecia, they lose their eyebrows. Do you have tattoo eyebrows too, or only strictly?
Yeah,
scalp?
good question. So again, business name is pretty explanatory.
Yeah. Okay. Just making
right.
Sure, yeah.
We put ink to your scalp. We don't dance around or jump into any type of eyebrows or lips or anything like that. Leave that to the professionals that focus on that.
Second business, ink to head.
You know what?
Right? Eyebrows.
It's
beards, mustaches.
It's got to be a passion.
Right.
It's got to be something that you want to enjoy doing, and we don't just develop a business just to have another revenue of money coming in. We want to stay with what we enjoy, and we've never been, my wife and I, in any type of profession that has given us the residual benefit of joy and happiness and having a guy come in with a smirk and leave with a smile.
And that was my next question for you was, is there a
I'm just here, guys.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Let's grab a drink.
Is there a defining moment that said, this is what I want to do, and I love this job and I can never look back?
Honestly, it comes down to timing of life. And it's got to jive where, yeah, you want to every day lead with your heart, and lead with your passion. But there's also the practical aspect of making those choices, and how do you triage who jumps first, and when do you both work together? And the patience is more challenging than just jumping in with 2 feet.
Yeah.
Because there's excitement and there's joy with that, and patience to hold back and go, okay, let's make this calculated. Let's make this positioning smart. All of those balancing acts, that's really where it becomes hard, but also helpful in the long run.
Okay, well, I'm done.
Oh.
I'm done.
Well, I want to make sure.
Hello,
you
welcome.
Seem,
Welcome. Thank you.
I've known of your business for
Sure.
6 years, so
Yeah.
I'm glad that you seem interested in it.
Yeah.
You say that you came to your beard? Any?
Yeah, I do whole beard. Yeah.
We do beards. That is something, facial micropigmentation. We do fill those gaps in for,
You do really?
for clients. Yeah.
And you have done that.
Yes, I haven't. Yvette, that's her specialty.
It's pretty good, though.
No. But
So,
see
well,
this gap here?
Right.
There you go.
See this gap?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That could be pigmented, so they actually attach if we wanted.
Wow.
Personally, I like my au naturel, but
I think your beard because it looks a lot better than it used to. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that now.
thank you. I love you too.
But speaking of, I've known you now for 20 plus years, and,
Yes.
and we've recently become big fans of a great sport, the fastest growing sport in the world. And you and Riyad joined me in June.
Yes,
We played for the first time,
yes.
and you two were reluctant to come because you're like, I'm an old person, blah blah blah. You're reluctant.
Well, let's specify what this sport is.
What?
It's pickleball,
Yes,
just for our audience members
of
to
course,
Right?
pickleball.
We may have to change this podcast to pickleball podcast. You know what I mean?
It's
Yeah.
I feel it a demotion in
Yeah.
my athletic pinnacle,
Really?
but I do enjoy it though.
It's-
Well, no, it's funny because when I tell people I play pickleball, they're like, "How old are you?"
Yeah.
That's the first thing they lead with.
Totally.
And I'm like, "What
I
are you
love
talking
it.
about?"
Yeah.
And and you were there almost for the murder scene that was Tuesday night's pickleball match, where a guy right there almost took me out with his. Remember he?
True.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Are you surprised by his competitive nature?
How about this? I'm not surprised by your girly kind of curl up or turtling. That's what doesn't surprise me as much.
You know me, I sort of hold him into a small little baby, but look at him, massive.
athletic joy I see more than
Really?
really like a competitiveness.
I think it's competitive. I think you both are competitive, and
I
I
would
think
say so.
We enjoy the athletics. Right?
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
it is, right?
and I am always amazed when we were playing together
Mhm.
on Tuesday. You said quick reflexes, like you were surprised that my arms are able to move. Like I'm sorry, like what am I, a mummy? Like,
Well, I mean, it's like you're a tree, but with the wind blowing fast.
Yes.
It's like the branches will move,
yes.
but the tree stays still.
Do you remember when we were younger in our 20s playing basketball, Dominican, wherever we were going on vacation, play ball, and how good I was?
We can blank this part out.
Oh, no, well, I think if we were somewhere tropical, I would have been having drinks and not really
That's something
remembering.
we would
how-
play ball sometimes, which was so silly back in the day.
Mhm.
Today, you went on a vacation. I do not.
Move. You
I don't
don't
move.
move.
I'm in the
No.
pool.
Yes.
I'm eating. Back in
Yes.
the pool.
Yes.
Nap. Dinner. To say and repeat for
Yes.
7 straight days.
It's healthy. It's super
But when we were
healthy.
younger, you could tell Riyad and the world
Mhm.
about how good it was as an athlete. Thank you.
Yeah, there was a particular niche in which we'll fit into.
the one day.
Well, yeah, and when I mean niche, I mean like that's the niche.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean every sport has a role player,
Thank you.
right? So you may have been hired for that niche.
I was very good at that one skill. Which
Mhm.
what niche are we talking about?
I don't know.
I
don't-
don't know. But yeah, so back to pickleball.
Mhm.
I'm so happy that you two are playing it.
It is. It's fun.
It's fun.
It's
It's
fun.
Mhm.
Good workout.
Yes.
I think when I put my Apple Watch on the other day, I had like my best calories, like 2,200 calories burned in a day, which
Mhm.
Yeah, because I'm there.
yes.
I
Mhm.
elevate
Ever.
your game.
Yep.
And I was like, this
It's
is if I play
calories.
this
You
every day,
elevate
how
his
much
calories.
weight
Calorie burn.
would fall off this massive that I call the body. You know?
You are becoming more and more like a gazelle every day. So
Thank you. Thank you very much.
yeah, it's enjoyable to do that with you guys for sure.
Now, with your business,
Mhm.
because you're in the community,
Mhm.
do you ever get people, especially when you go to like a party or function,
Mhm.
you ever get people to sort of go, what? And and you see them learning about your business and their sort of their opinion or their look on their face changes?
Well, no, the first time when I had no clue
Yeah.
what you did for a living until we
Sure.
were going out for
Yeah,
eating
yeah,
dinner.
yeah.
And when you said you tattoo guy's head,
Yeah.
for the whole night, I called Will after. He tattoos people's head for a
Yeah,
living, and
yeah.
I was shocked about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say that in basic terms because it does get a reaction of curiosity.
Yeah.
So you spend like an hour explaining what you do to people.
But exactly.
Yeah.
And the other people, sometimes people are like, oh, so like, then what do you tattoo on them? And I'm like, leprechauns, hearts, stuff like that. But yeah, for them to get the concept. So yeah, at gatherings and things like that, when we're asked, sometimes it's just simple because sometimes we just say it's cosmetic tattooing. Because at many places at the ages in which we're at, there's thinning haired guys, there's bald headed guys. And when we say we tattoo to camouflage your baldness, sometimes, guys are like, look away, don't talk. They're probably scouting you. Don't like, and so we just,
you should take your car and put it in the car after.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because sometimes we'll get, the husband interested, or be aware of it, but it'll be like that 10:30 at night phone call from the wife saying, hi, my husband needs this really bad. Can you email him or call him? So through that's where we kind of have that dichotomy of, yeah, I really want it. This is probably not for real and things like that. And what I'd always kind of, I guess, pride ourselves on is that our content is so authentic. I'm not a skilled graphic designer. I don't know how to use Photoshop. I don't know how to hide this and tweak that and suck in here, whatever those things are.
I'm trying to suck in. That's it. Not working.
And so all of our images, all of our clients, they're all earned relationships, earned clients. And these gentlemen and females, because we had a female alopecia, they come back years later and I kindly ask, would you mind doing a photo shoot? These are people that are plumbers. They're in IT. They're a CEO of a business. They're a garbage man. They're working at a bank, whatever it is. They're not models.
Yeah.
But they get the point of having the relationship of, I did it because I saw somebody like me and I read a review and I'll do that. It's so organic in the way that we approach it as, and I don't mean to sound cliche, but we build an Ink2Scalp family.
Yeah.
And, I'd love to start creating a logo and tattooing the back of their head going, you're Ink2Scalp and brand them, but can't do that.
Right.
But it is really nice to have that, those relationships built. Just from, again, putting so simple as putting dots or what we call impressions on somebody's scalp.
How many impressions are on a scalp?
Well, it's
like for instance, because you were really bald.
That's right.
Right. How
That's
many
right.
impressions on your
Yeah.
head?
Well, first off, I'd like to say that bald is sexy. And
I
also,
think so.
FYI, bald men have a higher DHT level hormone, which is actually a derivative of a higher sex hormone. The balder you are, the higher your DHT is. Ergo, bald men have a bigger, I guess, sex drive. Sorry, by the way, to give you that FYI.
That's an interesting fact. So I lost my hair at 16, just so you guys all know. My box cut was open. Was opening at the top at 16.
Right. So, but yeah. So sorry. As I was saying, as we go through the sessions, sessions are built with openness and greater, tighter density over the sessions.
Right.
So at each session, there's normally 3. The first session is very tastefully done. It's not adding a ton of impressions. It's not making you from bald to afro. It's just giving you kind of that peppering to start.
Right.
And how many impressions of that?
I couldn't count.
Okay.
Doing it 3 hours, you're not going 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd go insane.
Okay.
So thousands upon thousands are built.
Are you able to track your?
Yeah, maybe it's like you did.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, but yeah, it's an amazing transformation that happens over the 3 sessions.
What if someone sweats a lot? Like, let's for instance, like look at me, like it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
You sweat.
Mm-hmm.
How long does the impression or the overall finished product last?
Right. So tattoo needles. I have no tattoos on my body, only on my head, but they're different. Tattoo needles go very deep into your subcutaneous layer of your dermis. Scalp micropigmentation is much more higher in the epidermis. Why that's important is because our impressions stay stable in color and almost like little golf balls dropping them in wet concrete. All right, where you see kind of the impression or the golf ball, but then the rest is housed within the skin.
Yeah.
So with that said, it's usually about 3 to 5 years that it lasts.
Right.
I'm going on my 5th year. You can't really see it in the camera very much or under the lighting, but from having nothing to, you gentlemen know, seeing at least a remnants of closing that gap in, it's giving me enough where I feel more closely shaved, but steered away from the feeling or looking of older than myself of being bald.
So are you gonna do it soon again, or?
So yeah, if Yvette would schedule me into her busy schedule, I would get what is called a touch up, and in around that 3 to 5 year mark, based on preference, gentlemen can kind of request, yeah, I think I might need a little bit of soft peppering, and yeah, I'm definitely excited, but we always encourage our clients not to chase more and more and more, because that's the unfortunate work that we see being done out there. And then they come to us and like, I did too much.
But to ask,
is
there like a
line,
limit, or that you?
Yeah, we have a lot of sit down conversations with our clients going, here's a picture of when you had nothing. Look at what we've given you now. This is natural. What you're asking us to do will bring you to the blackness of my shirt.
Wow.
We don't want to do that. And so we have a very, again, open conversation of let's stay in the pocket of your age, of what your look is, what looks natural. And it has to be very candid and delicate conversations because there is an addiction level to more,
Right.
darker, please. And we move through that carefully to know that you're getting something that's effective, but yet also purposefully subtle.
So on my feed, I see a lot of all these people doing like ink, just their foreheads and their their back of the heads, and eyebrows and stuff.
Yeah.
What defines different ones? Like, how do you know who's a good clinic, or what distinguishes each one?
So the key that a lot of clients wouldn't really know to pick out is when you see on social something really distinct and heavy and present and over densified. For that money shot right there, it looks stunning.
Yeah, I see a lot of stuff sometimes on my feed, and they're like
And
perfect
then
lines. And
3 months later, it's a black helmet. and so that's where social media is hard to depict what it is. Also, it's healed results in the same kind of caliber of example.
There was a healing time.
Right.
Okay.
So
is somebody in pain after, or like?
Good question. It is an annoying prick.
Okay.
It is not.
I need to say that.
The door was open. The door was open.
It's not painful, but it is an annoying prick. And by like the 2nd or 3rd hour of getting pricked that many times, it's annoying, right? But it's not painful. It doesn't draw blood. There's no downtime. It's not invasive. So it's right from the bat effective, and then you can go to work the next day.
What does success look like for your business?
It's a big question because, again, working with your significant other, there's always different visions.
So what is your vision? Because we are going to be interviewing your wife.
Yes. Phenomenal. Yes, that's right.
We did ask her.
Well, this will be an interesting
She said, as long as this is old Trevor, I am in. I am in.
So my vision is to make sure it's a quality over quantity business.
Good.
We don't run ourselves ragged. We don't take 3 or 4 or 5 clients a day. We could make this a 24/7 operation and be very financially comfortable.
Yeah.
But we don't. We take on 1, 2, often 2 sustainable clients a day. And that's it. Because if we're with you for 3 hours, our hands and our eyes have to be very steady, very crisp to have a realistic outcome. So I guess that's kind of our mission, is to make sure that it's quality over quantity. Outside of that,
thank you.
It's a pleasure to just simply have one outstanding clinic that expanding doesn't always mean more success. It doesn't mean it's more successful.
Do you want more technicians to do this, or?
You know, I don't know yet. Like in this date stamp of this podcast at this moment, I am happy with making hundreds of clients happy with my partner by my side.
Right.
Nice.
So success for you looks like what exactly?
Um,
Because you know where you were years
yes,
ago,
yes,
and now you are successful.
yes.
But there has to come, like, every person has a goal in life.
Mm-hmm.
I will say personally, I'm living that goal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. My
Yeah, but
happiest.
he can be
Yes.
there right now.
You can
right?
be there right
Yeah.
now, but
Yeah,
maybe you don't see it.
Yeah.
Because you're a business person, you always want to,
Yeah. So we've developed a training academy. And through the training academy, we kind of get opportunities to look at the talent that we're training to see if they have the grit and the skill and the fortitude to grow something for themselves, or if it's a suitable fit for us.
Right.
So it's a very nice way to kind of cherry pick who you're working with or who you could possibly. And so there's definitely thoughts we had a trainee come from Pennsylvania. We've had a trainee come from Winnipeg. We've had a trainee in a couple of weeks come from Ottawa. And that could be unique partnerships.
Yes. Now, you did mention on Tuesday or whatever day we talked about it,
Mhm.
that you had a trainee who went to another place to be trained,
True.
hated it, or hated the
Yes.
experience,
Yes.
and wanted to reach out to you.
That's true. Yes. So this individual had some local GTA training somewhere, and he just contacted us, and he's like, "Listen, I don't know if it's enough. It was a good start, but it was quite basic, and I'd like to come to you to really gain the actual skills and concept to perform well on something that is so public for people,
Right,
on their body." So after some further questions and things like that, we were in agreement that, yeah, you definitely need to refine some core fundamentals. It's not an advanced class because he's not there yet. But when we speak to advanced classes, that would be your alopecia client, that would be your hair transplant, scar revision client. Those would be kind of those calibers of advanced training. But yes, for this gentleman, he chose right based on affordability and based on readiness on his first experience. But as he's come to learn, it just wasn't hitting the full mark. And good for him. Good for him to go, it's not my full knowledge that I think I didn't get.
right.
And good for him for saying, I think I need more.
Yeah, because he recognizes that, like you said, it's your head.
Very responsible.
So with the training academy, how did that start? And I know how much work you put into it, but like, explain to me what you sort of did to get to where you are today.
Well, first off, this is not done alone. So though my wife, Yvette, and I work together very closely, we have partners that are talented graphic designers, that are talented arts background, kind of logistical wording. And so I do have to tip my hat to them. We have two individuals that are just outstanding and extremely helpful. So the success of our business, the success of our academy is piggybacked with them. And I do include them in that always. But yeah, it's developing a rigorous manual. The 35 steps that you need to do from session 1 to session 3.
Why do you? Can you just start as to why you believed that Ink2Scalp needed to do this?
I think it was unjust if we didn't share Yvette's skilled hands with individuals that wanted to grow in this profession.
Is there a license or just?
Good question. So there's no license, there's no governing body,
Okay.
which is scary. Now in the UK, that is something that is being grown, and that's where it originally was rooted from. And so from the UK, it moved into the US, so on and so forth to Canada. But there are protocols and licenses in the UK. In US and Canada, it doesn't have that. So it is a fully guided, trusted. I'm trusting you because I've seen your clientele. I'm trusting you because I've read your reviews. And that's where that significant fit comes in for clients working with us. But for the academy, that's where it came from. I was like, I'm good with the business. I'm the business of Ink2Scalp. Yvette is the talent. Wholeheartedly, she is the talent. And I just felt like she needs to share that skill basis. And with my background being in education and working with inside classrooms and delivering a curriculum, I could develop that side of the house. So again, the synergy between both our strengths and weaknesses between my wife and I has folded out to be quite beneficial and phenomenal.
Biggest surprise for you? I mean, I think for Yvette would be different, but for you, when it comes to the business,
Um, the biggest surprise is, I think, working with good people that understand your vision and that see the naivety that you may have,
Mm,
but
yes,
also the encouragement to go, you're naive here, but you're talking to me because I'm a specialist in this area. So be it accounting, be it a corporate lawyer, be it a graphic designer. Yeah, you gotta have to cross these waters carefully to have that built trust. But man, when you nail the right people,
hmm
it is just so comforting, and to equally share in the growth and the joy and the pain of all of it. And all of those parties, dollars and cents accountants, corporate lawyers, graphic designers, working in our vision of our brand. Um, you get that high of like, oh man, this is perfectly developed logistically, and our corporations and our holding company and uh, all of those things. That's a beautiful setup. And then you build a brand because your graphic designer is helping you with that.
right.
I think the surprising aspect is everybody needs to be paid because they have value on their time. But when you see okay, I'm getting paid, but you forget about the money, you forget about what you're paying them because you're like, they get you. They get what you're looking for and they're on board with the same thing.
So you're saying owning your own business, in essence, one, you're managing your time the way you want it to be managed
Hmm.
because you're the boss,
Hmm.
and two, you're being heard.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly believe that. However, there's the surprising aspect of it is not easier.
No.
No,
Doing a 9 to 5 job, clocking in, that's easy. It's exhausting at that moment in time, but you can leave it quite
Yeah,
often.
you don't turn off when you're an entrepreneur.
You
Like,
don't.
it's always
You don't.
so the question is the fact that you guys live where you work, you
Yes.
live together,
Yep.
you guys still share the same bed, right?
Yes.
How do you
Yes.
guys have
I was about to ask that question
time?
next.
Like
Yeah.
I can tell right now, Melissa and I love my wife. We are great.
Yes.
We could work together all day.
Yeah. So what is
How do you do it?
What is downtime too?
Yeah, what does downtime look like?
Yeah.
I will say this. My capacity to continue to go and get things done, it doesn't slow down, and not to a fault. That is a problem. My partner in life, she helps me go, all right, it's time to clock off now. And that's
But
helpful.
she got there.
She got there
Yeah,
herself.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, it takes time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because when you're owning, like, think about it, we're all entrepreneurs here.
Hmm.
You have to figure out what works because you'll burn out.
Yeah.
I remember coming out of COVID, I was like, oh my God.
Hmm.
I was so tired, I was so burnt out. I was
Hmm.
making a lot of weird mistakes in my business because you literally had 3 years where we had not one. I could go on a vacation, couldn't go anywhere, so it
Yeah.
worked,
Yeah.
right? So you burn out very quickly,
Yeah.
and so being able to turn off and literally just walk away from the business is something you have to do, or else you're gonna die early. You're gonna go enter
Yeah.
an early grave,
Yeah.
pretty much, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. So it has its pluses and minuses, but to build something like this, to have the byproduct of fulfillment and joy on our side, along with having our clients pleased and happy and excited for their new self-image, that's profit in itself.
So what do you do for fun? So
yeah, do you actually
entrepreneur.
have fun?
What do you do for fun
That
other than pickleball?
Yeah, that word fun has changed over the years. I find pockets of time where I selectively choose the people that fulfill me, and I hope equally fulfill them. It's as simple as I enjoy the pre-drinks more than the party. I enjoy the conversations of friends, right?
Dude, you know me, I'm all about that.
No.
I do not care about going out at all.
No.
Yes.
I enjoy just the conversation,
Love it.
the catch up,
Yep.
the dinners out. The dinners
I love
out.
it. I love that.
Yeah.
My biggest surprise of Trevor, though, in the last year getting to know
Sure,
you,
yeah.
is how much he can eat.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is.
like,
you know
he
what?
can-
It's embarrassing sometimes.
It is embarrassing.
I have.
It is, yes.
I don't know where we were. Oh, it's all you can eat sushi when we killed it.
Yeah, I know.
He could go 50, 60 pieces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the day
I would like, I'll go-
the first time I went to your house,
Yeah.
I brought the little treat. He went in for one, and then maybe like 10 minutes later, I went to get one. It was all gone. I'm like, who ate this? And I see the whole container in his hand. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
wow, he can pack it down.
But
Yeah.
you work out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's the thing. You two like food,
yeah.
right? I could
So-
like.
I feel.
What's one surprise about me that you've witnessed over the years?
You know
like
what?
this.
It's I think
Good
um,
question.
I think based on your personality, what I've really kind of connected with and it's been an easy friendship is you're engaging when you're spoken to. And I don't mean entertaining, I mean engaging. It's always a conversation of, hey, what about you? Oh, well, this is going on with me. Oh, I relate with that. I love that.
Yeah.
Because
And you-
I
you
want
do-
to
and
spend
you-
time
yes.
connecting with somebody.
Yes.
And you know when you're speaking with somebody and they're there, but they're not there.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's got to pay such value to your clients
100%.
that like when you hear them, when you listen to them, they feel like they're being heard.
Yeah.
And you're always excited to help, or I know a guy that could help you with this or something like that. It's just, you're willing to build connections. But yeah, I think it's just the engaging part.
Now me, what's changed the most in me? We've known each other now 20 plus years.
Mhm.
What outside of my weight? What's changed the most about me in our many years of being friends and neighbors now?
So, truthfully, I think that it's the same kind of build upon of a conversation. You've been overly opinionated without hearing the full scope and picture of things.
Well, hey,
We just keep replaying that over and
I
over
know.
again,
Over-
right?
Right?
Yes,
Yes.
that is me.
But I think maturity has given you the opportunity, plus your wife slapping you upside the head once in a while, of going, think a little bit more deeper than just your off the cuff comment or opinion. Is you kind of listen to the full scope and you're like, all right, you didn't ask for my opinion, but this is what I deduce based on what you've shared with me as a friend.
Mhm.
Be it right or wrong, there's always some real takeaway, depending if you want to accept it or not. So I think that that's kind of what I've enjoyed with our relationship is you're like, yeah, okay, I get it. I see it. I still don't agree with it. I think you're doing a right move or a wrong move. And I would say that you don't give compliments easy.
I don't.
You
Really?
don't.
Oh, that's
When
funny.
you give a compliment, there is a
funny.
sincerity about
Oh
it.
wow. Okay.
Right?
I never knew that. That's great.
Yeah, like, if you're like,
I'm
man, you're
picturing it
really
now.
doing well here. And you don't say it where anybody else needs the attention to hear it. It's just like, Trev, hey, you guys are doing a good job. That's money in the bank for me. That feels
Oh,
so
that's-
good to hear from trusted friends. Like,
wow. Well,
you're on the same page.
Ink2Scalp for me it's such a evolution. Like I've been, you told me you're doing it. You said, I'm going to tag you in this post.
oh, and did you have an opinion on it?
I had an opinion. I was like, this is crazy. But I'm like, but weird. My brother just had it done.
That's true.
Right. So I was
That is
like,
true.
oh, interesting.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's good. So when he first told you about this, what was your thought about
I
it?
was like, interesting. Because my brother had used that. You didn't use Trevor, used someone else.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay.
Your brother was trend setting because
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, number one.
Yeah.
But number two, that was even before we actually even kind of pushed into it,
Mhm.
into the business. So yeah,
And my biggest takeaway about our friendship now, since you're talking about me, Trevor Greenall. You know what? Very thoughtful person. You become more thoughtful as you've gotten older. Not saying you weren't thoughtful before, but you do things with intention. And also, you and I are similar with this. I only hang out with people mostly that I like to spend my time with.
Mhm.
You get to my house. My house is a little bit literally a lounge in the
Mhm.
garage.
Yes.
I'll lounge in the backyard, and I'll lounge in my basement, and all we do is sit there, chit chat, talk,
Yeah.
laugh, eat, ordering food.
Yes.
And that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
I don't need to go out anymore. I mean, we went out in our 20s
Mhm.
way too much.
Yeah.
Fun and all.
Yeah.
But you have so many, like our time this summer, we all got together, did the cigars in the garage.
Yeah.
That was
Mhm.
a great night. Ordering all that food.
Choto mate.
Chote mate that
Mhm.
night too.
Mhm.
And I think spending time with people that matter and that could add to your success and add to your network is very important.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so, thank you, Trevor.
Thank you, Trevor.
And
Thank you.
Ink2Scalp, located here in the Durham region,
Mhm.
they are online with, I would say, probably one of the most consistent marketing programs, consistent message online. Our clients are our models is one of your line, and I totally support them 100%.
What's your social?
I can go through them all.
Well,
So
yeah, I was just going to read them, but
yeah,
there you go.
please, no, go ahead.
you can email them at ink2scalp, all one word, at gmail.com,
Mhm.
facebook.com/ink2scalp, instagram.com/ink2scalp, their website, ink2scalp.com, and their phone number is 647-424-1186. Trevor, thank you so very much.
You guys. Thank you very much.
For
I appreciate
coming
it.
on here today. Again, entrepreneurs, what we're taking away from this episode and all the episodes before, and probably in the future, is that it takes work, it takes commitment, your network matters,
100%.
and once you are in your own business, managing your time is probably the biggest part of creating your own happiness. So thank you, Trevor.
Thank you.
And we will
Thank
see you very soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.